Oh, hi, and welcome to the Just Gaming Tingz Podcast. We're bringing you an all-queer perspective on video games, gaming news, and nerdy stuff every Saturday live on twitch.tv/JustGamingTingz at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and then usually either Sunday or Monday on YouTube and all the podcast
Tuesday at the
things.
latest.
Tuesday at the latest. But welcome in. Welcome to the clowning portion of the podcast today.
Here we
I'm
are.
here. I'm here. My name is Spinblend. I'm a clown. I'm here with my fellow clowns, Coca Jangles
Hello, I'm here.
and Ruby.
Hi, I'm also here. Hey, I'm excited to be back. Excited to be
Yeah,
back.
we missed you.
Y'all did so iconically last week. I was like, oh, look at my friends. This is what it's like to watch the podcast. I was like, oh, iconic people being iconic.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
happy.
Actually, before we get into any news stuff or anything, I
Yeah.
actually did want to just announce very shortly because some of y'all may
Oh,
clock it on our socials or anything of the sort. But as we're moving forward, some changes are happening within the channel as far as people and stuff like that. So Chalora has decided to no longer be a part of Just Gaming Tingz, which was a completely mutual like respect thing. Like, we have nothing against Chalora. In fact, we actually hope to get Chalora on the podcast in the future as a guest. So we're all in good terms with one another. We just wanted to say that because
yeah.
some of y'all may clock it in our description or anything like that and be like, what happened? Is there drama? Like
No
no.
drama. It's literally fine. She's just really busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone just has different schedules, and we're almost midway through the year, and it's been a while since we started the podcast, so we just wanted to kind of address that really quickly. And obviously we wish Chalora the best, and we know that she supports us and our journey as well, so nothing but love here, nothing but love here. So yeah, just wanted to say that.
With that, let's get into our first topic.
Hmm.
Um, oh my God, our first topic. Wow, imagine us talking about gaming tings on a podcast about gaming tings.
Groundbreaking.
Iconic. Iconic, truly. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I saw this like everywhere when I was like looking at stories for this week. So apparently there's like rumblings that Netflix is gonna have its own gaming division. And
Hmm.
my first thought on this, basically, like, there's the rumblings are that they're like contacting video game executives, like they're like putting like feelers out there, and people are kind of picking up, oh, is Netflix doing gaming stuff? So there's really like nothing super super official on like exactly what this means. Like, it could be anything from like making games out of Netflix original TV shows, or like something that I thought of was like, what if they just have like Netflix original games and Netflix starts also being a game streaming service? Like, they're kind
Hmm.
of competing with Xbox in a way. Um, and I thought that was a really interesting thing that we could talk about. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, Koga, if you want to go ahead and go in a little bit deeper into that.
I'm sure. So, I mean, I'd be okay with it depending on how they would do it. I mean, I would hope that it would be a subscription and then, certain games you can play, whether it be their own. Maybe they'll contact a few developers and have it put on there. Please don't go the Stadia route and charge me full price. Don't do that. That's like my biggest issue with Stadia. Outside of that, it actually works very fine. But I mean, I think it wouldn't be too much of a surprise to me because they've been around for a long time and been very successful in, um, you know, Netflix and now the new shows and like that, to the point where now they don't even have a trial. I know that because I tried to use it to watch Castlevania and I couldn't do it.
Well.
Yeah.
So, um, I'm definitely okay with there being, another, company, trying to come in and, create a little bit more options for people who may want to do that, because that'll help keep other streaming services on their toes more so. But I mean, if they did original games, I'm trying to think of what they would make. And would it just be, something, small, maybe indie type, or would it just be big photorealistic AAA something?
Right.
But I definitely would be interested in seeing what they do in the future.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting for sure. It almost like my one of my first thoughts was like, oh, Lucas Art and like all of that, because like they are responsible for like all kinds of entertainment, really, like so I could either see this as like them potentially, like Spin said, like giving the rights or working super closely with people to make games about their original like properties. Um, or it could go into the avenue of which like they've done before of like interactive content where it's like almost like an FMV kind of game where like
Mm.
you kind of like it's kind of like a choose your own adventure kind of thing with like other people's properties, but like working alongside Netflix. I know like Minecraft had a thing, and I think there's others, and I can't just think of them right now. But I haven't really been super interested in those because like when I want to watch Netflix, I just want to like just kind of chill and like not have to pick up my mouse and be like, oh, okay, let me stop and make a decision right now. Like I just want to kind of consume. Um, in another thing, it could be interesting if they just kind of oversaw like like other people's work and they just kind of published it and they just kind of did that while like they hired other people to work on games that are Netflix properties. I can't really see them doing like completely original games. I just see them using properties that are already popular on Netflix and just turning them into games. Either way, it's interesting to see like a potential new challenger arriving in the gaming scene and be like, "Oh, what are they going to do? Are they going to bring any new perspectives? Are they going to do something interesting? Are they just going to go for the cash grab and potentially bring back all the shovelwares that have been kind of gone for a little bit? Like what is it going to be?" Very interested in seeing what they do.
Yeah,
It,
I kind of. Oh, sorry. Do you
oh,
want
fine.
to?
I was gonna say they could give me Castlevania the animation, the game. Give me that.
Ooh,
Ooh,
that could be a moment. That could
right?
definitely be a moment. I was thinking, okay, so like I feel like Netflix originals are really like known for their queer representation. Like there were and have been and still are like a lot of Netflix original shows that are like very queer centric. My like one of my favorite shows of all time, Sense8, which was canceled prematurely. Netflix, how could you?
Right.
Um, but I was thinking like, what if this kind of allows like what if they work with like queer game devs to like make more queer games, like more queer
Mm-hmm.
narratives?
Yeah.
That was the thing that kind of immediately came to mind in this scenario of like them making their own original games. I was like, what if they make more queer games? Wow.
Yes. Especially because they have so much data that they can pull from of like the shows that resonate with people, the movies that resonate with people, even anime and stuff like that. So who knows, right?
Right, right. It really could be anything. Um, but yeah, that was just kind of the thought that I had, where I was just like Netflix can kind of get away with more
Uh huh.
because like they don't have to answer to any sponsors, like they don't
Right.
have to like it's pretty much all them. So they can take more risks and they can make more it's I mean it's sad that like making queer content is a risk and like it will
Yeah.
alienate sponsors, but that's just the reality we live in.
Yeah.
Um so that was kind of my thought, like, hey, what if they make some queer games? I'm definitely gonna have my eye out.
A Sense8 game would be so iconic.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Yes, I could.
I love it.
I could indeed. Yes.
Yeah,
Give it to me.
I want this. I need this.
It could
I
it could either be like kind of like an action type game, or it could even be like a telltale type of moment where like
mm,
you make decisions, or Life is Strange. What I mean, it would work with Life is Strange, and we kind of jokingly threw around the idea for the next Life is Strange to be Sense 8 like. So I could totally see that happening. It would be really
oh my
cool.
god.
Don't Nod has a history of working in games that kind of take risks as well. So like I could see that being a delightful partnership. Wink, wink, wonk, nod, nod. Like hello, hi, work together, do it now.
Now,
Like
Oh, that'd be such an interesting game because like I'm imagining like different segments of the game you like doing different things. Like 1 second it's like an action and you're like doing like a chase scene, and like 1 second you're like putting together like puzzles, and like one
yep.
second you're like do like managing your interpersonal relationships. Like it could be like so much because I love this idea now. I want it.
Right?
yeah.
Netflix, please.
And they could even pull from the original characters that they like from the existing characters that they have, or they could even pull from like a different group of characters that
Yeah.
haven't like been introduced, or maybe from the future, from the past, maybe the original, people, or just the possibilities are endless, really. So it could be really
Yeah.
exciting to see something like that. Since I just thought about it because like Koga mentioned Castlevania, and I was like, what would be the game that I would want? And yeah, do you happen to have
That's the
another one?
answer.
Even though I kind of stole Sense8 from you.
I know a Sensei game would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Ooh. I mean, okay, not necessarily a Netflix original,
Mm-hmm.
but something that's been on Netflix for a very long time and I don't necessarily see going anywhere is Buffy. So what about a Buffy game?
Oh,
That could be pretty iconic.
yes. Without any of the
I'm thinking,
grimy people associated with it.
yeah, definitely.
Um,
Uh, I'm thinking like even like a beat 'em up or like a hack and slash kind of style. Like that would be so
yes.
fun.
Yes,
And
that
you
would
have
be
like
that would be iconic.
yes. And you could have like moments where you're just like in the library, like solving mysteries and like to like break up the action. Like I feel like that would be so cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think that would be very interesting. Look at
That would be
us
really
Yeah.
interesting.
pitching video games.
Honestly, we've given people so many free ideas for games
We
on this
have
podcast. Somebody come work with us, make one of these games a reality. We have so many ideas.
literally, we really
Right.
do.
Right?
Just doing
Absolutely.
iconically.
Honestly. We can come up with the ideas. We can't do anything else, but we can come up with the ideas.
Yes, we can test the game.
We can do that,
Yeah, we
yeah.
can QA. We can do some QAing.
Yeah,
Yep.
that could be cute.
Yeah, hire
That
us
could be a
now.
moment.
Do it now.
I wonder if they release it as a console box as well, or just well, they probably
Ooh,
would because that would just make the most
Ooh.
sense. But
no,
probably I guess usable for
please.
like the browser or smart TVs and things like
Mhm.
that.
Maybe they would like have their
Yeah,
own app, like Netflix Gaming,
maybe.
and
Yeah.
it would be like integrated within like existing hardware, like Epic Games or Steam, PlayStation, etc. And they just kind of have like an app of their own, or like they go the Lucas Arts direction and they just literally publish the games, or like
Mhm.
develop the games and just give it to whoever bids the highest or something. Like that could be very interesting. They could be like, "Hi, this is an Xbox exclusive because they paid us a lot of money." Because we're
We have links to
Netflix
that,
and
don't
we're a
we?
company and we want to make money.
Yeah. My like kind of concern with this though is that like I would hope that this wouldn't like push other people out of gaming. Like, because
Mm,
I mean, gaming is like such a big industry anyway, and like I don't necessarily see Netflix coming in and taking over, but like,
yeah.
like a lot of people went out of business because of Netflix originally.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Unlike Blockbuster and things like that.
right, right. So I just wouldn't want it to be like that, but in gaming. I don't necessarily see them like coming in and immediately taking over, but like there is a precedent there, so that would be like my only like kind of concern.
I
Like,
mean,
oh no.
it was more so just because it was just way more convenient. And unfortunately, convenience and the price is going to win. And so when it comes to digital, I mean, people don't like this, but it's going to happen one day. I'm sorry. They're going to go completely all digital. They
Yeah.
honestly want to. It's just that it's always going to be someone who's not going to want to, and then people are going to run, over to that. Because, like, oh God, Microsoft tried to do that like back in 2013, and that backfired tremendously. So it's like they want to, they're just
Yeah.
trying to like slowly do it to ease more people into it. Because as like the younger people and newer generations come in, as it's more of what it is they know, they'll be more okay with it. So I
Yeah.
mean, it sucked that Blockbuster and whatnot went out of business. But I mean, hey, it was easier to be able to sit right here in my chair, and for like what, I don't know how much it is a month now. It's like 13 or something now, and you just get a bunch of movies compared to have to get up, go get it, hope that it's there,
Yeah.
bring it back, watch it, and then
Right.
go take it back. I mean, that's just the thing. It's the same thing with like music now. It's just that it's more convenient,
Yeah.
and like I said, as time goes on, the younger audience, they're not going to want to do all that inconvenient shit. Like for what?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, Netflix was like a rental service, so
yeah,
they just
originally.
adapted. They just adapted with the times, and I don't think Netflix would necessarily change gaming as much as gaming is already changing itself, because gaming as far as streaming in different ways is already happening, and they're already trying to make it a thing. Either if you're going with either xCloud or Game Pass, those are like different ways of streaming, or similar enough to streaming where you don't actually own the games. And I was actually thinking about it the other day. I was like, wow, like stuff like, Game Pass and PlayStation Now is basically the 2021 equivalent of us renting a video game, or having some sort of like, some sort of card associated with like any particular like company like Blockbuster or anything, and like just showing up there and be like, oh, you can rent a certain amount of movies this month because you paid for a certain amount. And I just think it's very interesting. And maybe, I don't know, maybe there's, I don't think they can standardize that yet, because I think gamers are very into ownership of their stuff, which
Yeah.
is absolutely valid. um, but I think maybe one day gaming can evolve into a place where people don't really care. Like, oh, I don't care that I don't own the game. Like, I just want to play it right now, and then, because there's plenty of people who play a game once and never touch it ever again. So I can easily see a situation like Game Pass and PlayStation Now becoming the future years down the line, where it's like that's all that people care about. And I don't know how good that is for the industry, because
Man.
already it's like the for example, the movie industry is suffering because of how much like Netflix and like streaming has affected them. And like they're developing, people who used to develop movies are now developing TV series because those are more profitable.
Mhm.
So I wonder what that would look like for gaming. Like they would maybe have to pitch to like specific people, like, oh, PlayStation is gonna like this. They're gonna pay more for this to be on their service or whatever. And I wonder what that would look like for individual developers, and also for indies. Like, what would that look like? Would that mean that we would need like indie specific services to be a thing? Because then there's like a gatekeeping concern, like, oh, if Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo doesn't pick up these indies, then nobody's gonna play them. So Yeah, but I mean, I don't see that happening anytime soon, but that is definitely something to keep in mind, especially as yeah, like the queen of streaming, Netflix, is approaching the scene and they're like, "Hi." So it's definitely something to think about for sure. But we have more
Yeah,
drama, don't we,
definitely.
to talk about on this day?
We do. Actually, do you want to get into that, Ruby?
Oh, I sure can. I sure can. I guess this isn't drama necessarily, but this has been an interesting week for Twitch. And I say interesting because it's just been a roller coaster. So, recently we don't really talk too much about like Twitch here because it's more like of a gaming thing, but we figured this was like an important thing to talk about since we're a queer podcast. Earlier this week there was a thing where Twitch was like, let's talk about hot tub streamers. And for people who don't know, and maybe you're not like super into Twitch and you're just into your games, which is super valid, even though we do stream this every week on Twitch, so check us out sometime. Um, basically there's been I guess not a resurgence, but hot tub streamers have been on the rise these days.
Surgeons and people talking about it. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, because I guess I guess since like earlier this year, because Twitch made a change to their like attire policy and stuff like that, in which it says if you can wear a bikini if you're in a situation where wearing a bikini would be appropriate contextually. So if you're swimming, if you're in a bathtub, if you're in a swimming pool, and then of course smart people were like, hi, I can make money because I'm gorgeous and I can just be in a bathtub and people will pay money for it. So let me do that. And then Gamer Guys TM got annoyed because they were like, the wet titties are stealing my views. And so
Boobs. Ah.
I'm angry about boobs, even though that's all I stare at in my free time. Um,
Maybe that also might be why it's showing up on your recommended.
which
Hint, hint.
literally, right. But yeah. Anyway, so Twitch decided to address it, and I was very concerned when I saw a blog post called "Let's Talk About Hot Tub Streamers," and I was like, "Oh, here we go. Twitch is gonna say something," and Twitch kind of said like, "Hey, y'all are being annoying." And one of my favorite parts about the full blog post, which you can check out on Twitch's blog posts for updates. They basically, one of my favorite lines was something in the something along the lines of, being perceived as sexy isn't against the rules. Like, just because like sexual content is against the rules, but being perceived as sexy isn't, because if you're not doing an explicit action, or if your content isn't explicitly sexual, then just because you find that person hot doesn't mean that they are being sexual or inappropriate. And I was shook because I this is not the Twitch that I'm used to. I'm used to Twitch being like, "Oh, let's change the rules again so that people stop complaining." But they literally were like, "No, they're following the rules, but I guess if people are upset, like our advertisers, we can just make a new category, and if they don't want to place their ads on that, then they don't place their ads on that." Which, that's not Twitch's fault. Like, advertisers are going to be like, "Oh, we don't want to put our ads in there." And Twitch is like, "Okay, let's work something out." So they created the hot tubs and swimming category, which was an okay decision. But then the LGBTQIA plus community was like, "Hi, we've been asking for the trans tag for years now. Where is it? Why are we getting a new category when, like, it would be easier to get a new tag?" And so Twitch was like, "Hi, we were gonna wait until Pride because hashtag marketing, hashtag performance, and we were gonna wait until Pride Month to announce that we actually have over 350 new identity tags." So, first of all, iconic. Finally, thank you so much. Um, I can't really say too much into details, but I will say that I know from personal experience that Twitch was actually working on a different thing. Twitch had plans to do a whole other thing. They were working with a lot of different people trying to get something going, but then as they heard the feedback, they were like, we should just do this. Like, we should just drop that entire new project and just do just add more stuff to the tag system, which in my humble opinion, I think it's a better way to do it. Just like, if we can have a tag for each of the League of Legends characters, we can have a tag for a lot of different ways that people can identify themselves as. And so I'm happy that Twitch did recognize that identity is a part of people's content, because their whole thing was like, oh, we didn't want to have tags that were a part of the person's identity. We wanted tags to reflect the content, and that the LGBTQIA plus tag was actually an experiment, and we wanted to see how it would resonate with people, and it resonated really well. And so you would think that they would be like, oh, that tag resonated really well, so let's do more. And they didn't. For years, and they didn't communicate that they were working on stuff. So I can totally understand, like, from the outside looking in, it looks horrible. But from knowing and from hearing stuff through the grapevine, it's not as bad. Like, they were really trying to, like, work on something else. But I'm glad that we finally got somewhere. But yeah, what are y'all's thoughts on this entire week of, like, hot tubs? And then my favorite was, like, the fact that who knew that hot tub streamers would inadvertently, rush the process of us getting new tags. Like, they're allies. Hello.
Honestly, like, I'm so ready for the queer hot tub streamer alliance.
Yes.
I'm just like, yes, girlies, get your money. Love that. Also, we have our tags and discoverability. Like, we're working together. We love you.
Right. Absolutely.
Can I just say, I completely and fully, like, support the girlies who are like, this is a good workaround that I can do for the rules to, like, still do
Yeah.
like, the kind of content that I want to do and, like, not be breaking any rules. Like, icons.
Right. Like, if thirsty ass men and women and non-binary people are gonna, like, throw money at you for existing and being perceived as hot, then yeah. Absolutely do it.
Get your money. I love that.
Right?
And I think it's good that there's going to be, like, a special category for it, so it's not like just in the just chatting. It's a little bit more specific, and you can kind of filter, like, if you want to see that or if you don't want to see that. I think that's going to be a positive thing. I just my feelings on the whole, like, identity tag situation are, like, so complicated, because, like, on the one hand, I'm so happy that, like, we're finally gonna have it, and I'm finally gonna be able to put the trans tag on my streams, and I'll get, like, other trans people to, like, be friends and be iconic, and I'll find other trans streamers. And I just think it's gonna be so great for the trans community on Twitch to just be able to find each other. And, like, not only that, like, just getting all these new tags. I'm so excited to see the full list.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's so many, like, different communities on Twitch that are going to be able to find each other now, and
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that. The thing is, like, the communication definitely could have been better,
Yeah.
to say the least. We shouldn't have been, like,
Begging.
yeah, we shouldn't have been, like, having to get, like, up in arms about them making a whole new category and not putting in a tag for us.
Yeah.
Like, we should have known that something was coming, that something like this was coming. Because basically for, like, as long as this whole, like, thing has been going on, basically has been like, we hear you, but shut up. Like, that's been, like, the takeaway.
Or
Like, we
even
hear
just like, we
you,
hear
but shut up.
you, and it's like,
Right.
okay.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we would have had, like, even if it took a long time, even if it was like, hey, we're working on something for a lot of different communities, not just the trans community, we're working on a bunch of different tags, then I feel like we would have been like, okay, like, that's going to take a little bit of time. Like, we're going to be okay. But to just have like complete silence on the issue and just
Yeah.
have trans people constantly being like, where's the trans tag? Where's the trans tag? Where's the trans tag? I just don't know why why
And I don't know why you would
the
want to look
reason.
bad as a company either.
Right.
Like, I think for me, like the main thing that kind of annoys me about the whole situation is that like they they just threw the LGBT tag in there because communities used to be a thing where it was basically like a tag system, but like it was custom made. So there were like 300 LGBT communities, and you just chose the one that had the most viewers in it or something. And there was a trans community in there and stuff like that. And so they saw that the LGBT community in specific was huge. So they were like, oh, let's do a tag for it and experiment with it. And I think what kind of annoys me about it is that they were like, it's like suddenly it's like, oh, we need to work on a whole new system. We need to do all of these things. And it's like, or if the community is telling you that a tag would be enough, then you would like just do that, and then we can go from there and be like, hey, the tag is like, there's a lot of harassment. What can we do about that? Or like, oh, there's a lot, like, what other tags do y'all want? I think it would be easier, and I think it would be better to just listen. Like the community said they wanted that, like just give them that and then go from there. And that's still a thing, like as much as I'm happy that we're getting the tags, at the same time they basically still said like, hey, if there's harassment, here's how you can make your stream safer. And it's like, okay, but you're not introducing any new features really for moderation, or you're not like, you know what I mean, like you're just again putting the work on the streamers to protect themselves, which has always been the thing. But you would think that for as much wait as we had to wait for, they would have been like, and here's how things are going to be easier, or how things are going to be better for y'all. And that's just the thing that they could never guarantee. Like even with like a super like with a new revamp of like the moderation system and all of these new tools, like people, if they're gonna harass anyone from any non-cis white community, then they would find a way to do it. So it's impossible for Twitch even to guarantee that there's not going to be any harassment. But so that's why I'm just like, y'all could have just like done the tags and then worked on a new system behind the scenes and then tried that system out and then do all of that. Instead, they just dragged this out for so long for us to just get what we were gonna get, like what we wanted from the beginning anyway. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of what I have, like mainly my opinions on it, to be honest.
Definitely.
Um, for me, for me, like I said, for those reasons, it's a mixed bag. It's like it's good that it's finally coming, but what took so long? And like they're also adding it like the LGBT and the whole thing with the allies, and they're finally fixing that. I'm sorry, you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that that took you 2 years for just to change a word. So it's like, why did it
Right.
take so long? Why did it take? It's like you say you were gonna wait until Pride Month. I hate that marketing bull crap. I really do. Like you could
Yeah.
have just did something beforehand. So I don't go with that. I mean, you were able to get this whole hot tub streamer thing taken care of and add that in. Talked about that before things that people were talking about for like the past 2 years. Because I definitely remember 2 years ago around this time when there was the big argument within the community about the LGBT tag and allies and how people felt about that. Nothing,
Right.
and then they don't say anything. And silence in this type of situations just aren't good. So I mean, I'm happy that it's coming, but I can't say I give them a pat on the back for it because it took way too long for this to happen, and people were screaming about it for so long. And then it's like, okay, now it's there. That's cool, but some of this shouldn't have taken that long. And
Yeah.
communication is key when you have people upset about certain aspects. So
Yeah.
hopefully in the future, but I don't know. I'm just being honest. Twitch ain't good about communication, so it's kind of like, okay, we'll just see how this goes. I am glad that they're adding, was it 350 plus new identity tags. I'm curious of what, what those are going to be, and of course, how easier to just make people to find, certain streamers that they're looking for, because that's what a lot of it is just they're trying to find, whether it be someone who's like them, maybe even just a type of game that they're looking for, a type of playthrough. These tags help people find that, and find other, of course, all the people who are like them that they can also identify with. So it's good that that's coming. Just please don't take too long next time. They probably will, but who knows. As for the whole thing with the hot tub streamers thing, I mean, I don't care about it personally because I don't watch that, but I think it's good that they at least found a way to make it for people who do want to do that. And that's fine. I don't have an issue with it personally. I know some people do. Y'all got to deal with it.
Right.
Sorry, you got to deal with it. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand where some come from, and some where they may believe that it may be, or how it may affect certain things. But it's like, hey, no one said, unless, correct me, unless find me somewhere they said this is only for this type of thing. So if Twitch is allowing it, then it's fine for them. Well, I don't know, because Twitch does allow like people to get harassed, and that's not fine. But things like this, it's fine. I don't have an issue with it. If it bothers you, don't watch.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's the same thing with like any other issue on Twitch, unless it's something that's really a big issue. Just go watch someone else. Not every stream, not every piece of media or just anything has to cater to what it is you want. There is out there. So just go there. There's plenty of creators out here who are doing that. Like ever since COVID became a thing, there's been a lot of creators out there. Stop complaining about hot tub streamers and go find another creator. Find you someone new that you may like. Go watch someone that you do. There's way more better things to do with your time.
They literally have like little tabs at the in the front page where you can like select gaming or just chatting content or music, like art, and it's like you don't have to watch non-gaming content. And it's like if you're on Twitch only for gaming, there's so many options for you. So Just Gaming Tingz being one, like, hello, hi, we're here.
Just Gaming Tingz hot tub streams.
Yes, next week. Just kidding.
Oh, man.
I could never. The bravery behind having electronics and cameras
Oh my
and stuff like
God.
that within like any proximity
Next
of
to water.
water. No. I could never.
Bravery. The technical genius.
Right.
The effort that must take. Like,
Yeah, I get it.
Sometimes I'm even scared of bringing my waterproof speaker into the shower because I'm like, it's waterproof, but it's not, invincible. So even that, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to ruin it. So I couldn't even imagine like a fucking camera.
Yeah,
like a PC.
Yeah.
And like, what if you need to change your settings or something?
Right.
Wet.
Right. What do you do? What do you do?
What do you even do?
We need to, what we need to do? We need to invite a hot tub streamer onto the podcast and interview them about their process and all of our
does everything
concerns.
work? Are you okay?
Has anything blown up?
Help.
How many explosions have you started? How many electrical fires?
Right.
See if they've started more than me.
Which you've only done it once, so if they do it
Yeah.
twice, that's already like a whole accomplishment, if you can call it that.
What's the opposite of an accomplishment?
Ooh, disappointment? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I also wanted to kind of touch on them taking out the thing about allies from the LGBTQI plus tag.
Finally.
Oh my God. Which one means that they are like keeping the LGBTQI plus tag so that we can like still have that to like bring us all together.
Yeah.
And also means we can finally stop doing this allies using the tag discourse every 2 seconds.
Yes.
I like literally half of like queer streamer Twitter is allies using the tag discourse
Yeah.
like every other week. And
And the conversation gets more intense as we get close to Pride, which I always find very
yeah.
interesting, because then it's like, if you're an ally, why do you want to profit off of our culture?
Because there aren't really
Yeah.
allies. That's why.
Yep. That's the one.
Yeah, I said it, because they're not. They'll act like they are, but then all of a sudden it's Pride Month and they want a piece of the pie. That's when those people are in there, and the next thing you know, we have a bunch of people who aren't allies. But hey, congratulations, you're getting yourself attacked now.
That
You're
no
on
queer people are going to
tag.
use, because no queer people are actually looking for allies. We're looking for each other. But okay, at least you can
Right.
have your little badge of honor next to your name. That's cute, I guess.
Like I just like these are the kind of people that are like, why isn't there a straight parade?
Right.
Why
Where's straight
why isn't
pride?
It's
Where...
the rest of the year.
right?
it's literally the other 11 months. Have fun, be
Yeah.
straight.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
but yeah, at least now us queer people have like a nice little tag to know who is gonna like feel like they deserve a gold star for being a decent human being, and we can avoid them.
Absolutely. There was an interesting thing that I read recently. It's like, someone who was like, I consider myself an ally, and I'm not going to use the tag, because the ally tag. This is like literally like this morning or last night, and they were like, I'm not going to use the tag because you know how I show my allyship through my actions.
Imagine.
Through my actions, and I'm not one to like, I'm not the one that has to label myself as an ally. Other people are the ones that are like, oh, that person is an ally because they do all of this work and they do all of these things. Like, it's not for the person to label themselves as an ally, which I thought was a very nice sentiment. And I was like, wow, okay. I'm not gonna give you the attention because, I don't know if this is performative or not, but it's a cute sentiment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of that, and that's, I don't know. It's kind of like I see. I don't know. It's just, sometimes you see people say some things, I have to look at it as like, that's neat, but does you really mean that?
Yeah.
I don't know. People just really have made me have to like really second guess their intentions, and I hate that it's like that. But after so long of you seeing it, it's like you question some of these people. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate. It's not like we're asking a lot. It's just, just be a good person, and it's like you need, a badge or anything for that just to be that. That's why it just really always blew my mind. This was always such a big issue, that it was
Yeah.
just, as the people were just asking for it to not be used so that they could find one another, and people argued about that, saying they were allies. Ooh, I don't know. So hopefully we're getting a bit past that.
Yes.
Something tells me that something is a brewing, but hopefully not. But it's like, you got your tag. Just please, I don't know. Just Alexa, just listen to people when they're saying things like that. And yeah, some org may feel differently, and I'm not gonna 100% knock some people who may have a different opinion on it, who were part of the community. But at the same time, it's kind of like, there was a reason people wanted that. It's
Yeah.
just they wanted to be able to, find one another. And during that month where they're being celebrated, they wanted that. And I'm not sure what tags they made, but let's say they do tag, let's say that they do maybe like a tag for Black History Month. I have no idea if they will. That's just certain, when they're being celebrated, or any group being celebrated, don't intrude on that. Don't be trying to step over the line, and like, it's not that serious. And it just sucks that that has to be said so much.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just
And
happy
just, like-
that they're not going to be able to be like, it says in the description that allies can also use that.
Well, now it doesn't.
Yeah, that's like
You got your tag.
honestly, I'm happier. It sounds terrible, but I'm happier about that than like even getting the trans tag. To be honest, I'm just like, oh, they're gonna shut up about it. Oh, I'm so happy, and also trans rights. You know what I mean? Like, as a they them, I can say that. like, of course, I'm super happy about it, but I'm just like, oh my God, finally, we're going to shut up about this. It's been 5 years of me existing in this platform, and it's basically for most of it, I've seen this conversation happen so much that I don't even want to engage with it anymore. And I'm happy I don't have to.
Love that. Love that.
Ugh.
Just to like put a bow on the ally discussion, if you find yourself speaking over the group that you claim to be an ally of, not listening to the group that you claim to be an ally of, ignoring the wishes of the group that you're supposed to be an ally of, a good maybe question how good of an ally you are. Maybe just maybe.
Right. Like, who are you talking for then? If you're not listening to the concerns of the community that you're advocating for, then who are you actually advocating for? Just something
Just
to think
a
about.
question to ask yourself.
Oh,
But
y'all.
yeah, Koga, do you want to get into your story?
Yes. All right. So earlier this week, okay, let's pull it back up here. All right. So in fighting games, usually there's a lot of terminologies, and a lot of people don't know what a lot of this means, like ambiguous cross-ups, um, maybe even mix-ups, getting bodied, um, the American reset, and things of that nature.
Oh, well.
So the other day, a guy named Infill made a fighting game glossary, and this is one of the best things I have ever seen. This thing is full of just terms that are used within the fighting game communities or just in fighting games, and it explains what they are. And a lot of these also have like a YouTube video link to it. So not only do you know what they mean, so you can see it. So if you mention someone, again, we're talking about what an ambiguous cross up is, there's a video showing you how it is. So now you can see it first in the video rather than experiencing it and being confused, because that's not fun.
Yeah.
It really isn't. This is very well made. A few years ago, he also made the Complete Killer Instinct guide, and that's like one of the best guides for a fighting game I've ever seen. It's just very informative, explains so much in depth to where, like, if you're playing Killer Instinct, you are doing a huge disservice to yourself to not go over that guide. It goes over just so much, like, of characters, explanations of mechanics. So now he's made one for, just definitions. It's like over 650 terms. And right now it has like over 200 video examples for them. Those are over at glossary.nfil.net. Nfil is INFIL. And it's up on a website, so it's not like you have to pay or anything. Of course, he does have, a donation page or things like that if you would like. But for me, as a person who's been playing fighting games about my entire life, been a part of the community for about 12 years now, this is great. It's great to see that someone went so far and beyond in a way that just helps anyone who's played these games. Like, that's not something you see every day, and it's very well done. Like, it's better than guides that you bought in like Prima back in the day. It's just really good.
Remember guides? Oh my God.
I remember.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh my God. This is like one of the things that sometimes I love gamers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like such a like an iconic thing of like someone who's like so passionate about this specific thing, and they created and they took the time to like do such a good job and an in-depth thing for other people to enjoy and for free and all that. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, gamers are iconic sometimes. What I adore is that they have a term of the day. Like, when you go to the website, like, you just learn about something, and today's term of the day is trip guard, the ability to cancel the recovery of a jump directly into blocking as long as you didn't attack while you were in the air. Love that. There's, it's more in depth, but I'm not going to give you a whole essay on it. But it is more in detail than that. And there's a little video accompanying it. I just think this is so cute. I adore the gaming community sometimes and how passionate they get about the things that they love and getting into stuff like that. Like even this reminds me of like the like Bulbapedia, right? Like where you see like everything related to Pokemon exists on there, and it's like everything is fan made, and you see like how a Pokemon evolves or how their leveling up progression is within like literally all the games that they've ever been on, and like all of that stuff, and like anime references and fun facts and stuff like that. Like I just love projects like these because I just think that they're so cool for people who want to get into fandoms, for people who are in fandoms to like easily find information that is relevant to them. I'm super super into it, and I'm that type of person that I love just like finding out random facts about things that I like as well. Like, oh, this is a cute thing that I didn't know it had a name for. Or like, did you know that this character was actually called Rebecca in the original inception of the character? And then because of something that happened, they named her Jennifer. Did you know that? Just like random shit like that. I'm just like, I just love stuff like that.
I love that. I think it's so cool to see because, like, generally the perception about gamers is like it's very like gatekeepy.
Mm-hmm.
And like there are a lot of people who like definitely this is like a relatable queer experience, like feeling like you can't get into gaming because you're queer, like,
Mm.
and like it's really encouraging to see somebody like making all this information available and accessible for
Yeah.
people who want to get into like the fighting game community. And I think it's just so cool to kind of like turn around that kind of perception that like, oh, I can't get into like this type of gaming because I'm gay or whatever. Like I just that's really encouraging to see, like from that perspective. I'm not necessarily like somebody who's into the fighting game community, but that's just like really encouraging to like see this information be accessible and like open and kind of welcoming people into that community rather
Yeah.
than like being like gatekeeping and like kind of like blocking new people out of that community. I just think that's really encouraging to see.
Yeah, for
That was
sure.
all my thoughts.
Yeah, and like even the idea of like that gamers are lazy and like selfish and aggressive, and it's like there's also a lot of good that comes from gaming, like the charity
Right.
stuff that gamers pull together, and like projects like these where people are actually basically inviting people that are like, hey, you may have not played fighting games because you don't know any of these terms, or like competitively, like a lot of people have
Mhm.
played fighting games just casually, but like maybe you want to get into competitive stuff and you don't know any of the terms. I got you. Here's all the things that you
Mhm.
need to know, and you can learn at your own pace and you can do whatever. Yeah, I really like that. I really really like that.
It's really cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you want to get into our last story for the just headline things portion of the podcast?
Let's do it. Who wants to get
All
into
right.
it?
I can do this one. Um, I saw an interesting article about Psychonauts 2. Now, Psychonauts 2 was announced, like there was a trailer like a while back, and I know a lot of people were like super excited about it because they love Psychonauts 1 and that came out a long time ago. And I was kind of like, ooh, should I get into this series? And I did play a bit of Psychonauts 1. I didn't like finish it. It's one of those games that I kind of started and then drop off a bit, but I would like to finish it. It was nothing against the game itself. I would just, I'm playing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's like a really fun like platformer with interesting mechanics, and I did kind of wonder how the sequel was going to handle like mental health aspects because um it's not as gone into, at least in the parts of Psychonauts that one that I've played. Um, Psychonauts isn't necessarily about mental health, but it's more like using that like psych prefix for like psychokinesis and like telepathy, like mind, like going into people's minds instead of like implying anything about someone's mental health.
Mm-hmm.
But like definitely if you're gonna make a game about like going into people's minds and like doing stuff in there, it's I'm really encouraged that they are definitely thinking about the mental health approach to this. And the developer of Psychonauts 2, Double Fine, is working with mental health experts to be able to explore those themes and to be able to do things like that without making sure it's not going to like come off as insensitive or like misinforming or anything like that. So I wanted to kind of get y'all's thoughts, like if either of y'all have played Psychonauts and like what like concerns, questions, thoughts.
I have never played Psychonauts, but I've been in a journey, in a self journey of like removing or doing my best at removing ableist terms from my vocabulary. So that was like immediately a thing where I see the name like in up to today's standards, I see even the name Psychonauts, and I'm like, okay, kind of, not kind of not worried, but close enough. I'm kind of like, but I. I just think that, and as we talked about with like other types of like games, with like for example, with Don't Nod working with Glad to make Tell Me Why happen, I like that we're moving in a direction where game devs want to talk to specialists as far as like getting feedback, and they take the resources that they have and they easily have access nowadays to talk to someone and be like, hey, there's so many nonprofits out there, they're working with Take This, which is a mental health organization. And so it's very encouraging, like you said, like that they're doing stuff like that to make sure that someone who plays Psychonauts is not going to feel like, that they're making fun of your mental health or anyone else's mental health, that they're not playing off of like outdated tropes or dangerous tropes or tropes that misrepresent the community. And yeah, it's just very encouraging, very exciting to see that it may be a slow progression, but it is happening. As far as like gaming being more for everyone and being more mindful and aware of the audiences playing it, because it's not, um, you know, gaming is honestly for everybody, and you never know who's behind that controller anymore. And so it's really nice to see that they're putting in that work, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that work reflects onto the final product, and even like doing a comparison between Psychonauts 1 and 2 and seeing the differences between how they handle certain topics or certain things or storylines even, you know.
I've actually never played Psychonauts, though I think the first one is actually on Xbox Game Pass on console and PC right now. So I don't know, that's it. I guess pretty decent timing there. I do think that it is, again, as you all said, good that they are, looking, trying to make sure that they're not, making people who have mental health and feel a certain way, and because a lot of games don't really do that. And there has been, more of a thing lately to where they try to you maybe do that, or maybe even at least list a warning or something. But it's nice to try to go out to make sure that they have, the knowledge of what it is that they're talking about, and not just thinking, okay, this is what I think this is, and they don't, deal with that, because you're more than likely going to be wrong, even if it's, someone So I think them going out of the way to do this it's really good, and hopefully everything else with the game goes well. And so I'm interested to see how that turns out. Might give it a try at some point. I said I'd have to play the first one, but I have so many games to play, so I couldn't say that I would. But I definitely like to keep an eye on to see how they handle this situation, and maybe with that, other developer can see ways to best handle these things and things of that nature.
Yes.
I do
Well,
definitely want to finish the first one and hopefully get into the second one when I can, because I'm interested to see how they handle it.
yeah. I mean, we've all mentioned how many games we have to play, how many things we're doing. So, do we want to get into just playing things, what we've been playing over the past week and stuff? I can go first because I wasn't here last week, so I can kind of get into a little
Yeah.
bit of like what I've been up to. So I recently got back into mobile gaming because through the power of modern technology or BlueStacks, I I my listen, my phone is always running out of storage whenever I have a singular game installed in it, because games also is like, oh, you want to load in a new level, let's download more stuff into your phone. So it's nice that I just kind of remember that it was a thing. I was like, oh yeah, I can totally just play mobile games just on my PC. So I've been kind of doing that and getting back into Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. The infamous Final Fantasy mobile game that had Ariana Grande on it. I still have her on my team. Listen, I installed the game for her, and I reinstalled the game because they have a Full Metal Alchemist moment right now where you can get all the girlies, all of the faves, all of the main ones. I still haven't gotten Al, which is very disappointing. Um, the For people who may not be super familiar with Full Metal Alchemist, he's the full suit of armor, and he's iconic. And you can get him. You can get Ed. You can get the two girlies, Hawkeye and Winry. Winry's limit break is so iconic. Like, basically, Ed just shows up, pisses her off because something broke, and she just throws the wrench in his like direction, which is usually where the enemy is at. So that's funny. And you can play as like other characters, like the king and Roy and a couple of the villains. So very, very, very fun. They are also adding a Final Fantasy IX event right now, which got me like very excited for like a potential remake in the future. Because like as a little intro to the event, they had like a CGI moment with like Zidane in like their little airship, and I was like, wait, this would actually be like a really fun remake. Like, what the hell? So they're planting the seed. No, no, I'm excited to get back into it. I have also Dissidia Opera Omnia, which is also like a Dissidia Final Fantasy mobile game, and their little tactical game, which don't play too much of, but I just like having those options and every once in a while just diving into them. Other than that, I haven't really been doing too much as far as like trying out new games or doing new things or anything of the sort. We've been playing a lot of Fall Guys here on the Just Gaming Tingz Twitch channel. Me and Spin have been having a lot of fun with that. Final Fantasy VII Remake has been a blast. I'm like towards the end of the game now, and it just continues to be iconic in every single way. So yeah, just that's basically it for me as far as like what I've been up to. Oh, I also finally caved in and I got the battle pass for Fortnite. I never thought I was gonna spend money on that game, but I leveled
Yeah.
up enough where I could unlock like 2 Lara Croft skins. And I saw how many V-Bucks they were going to give me for free, and it wasn't enough for me to buy the season pass. So I was like, let me just buy the fucking battle pass. So I got it. Now I'm Lara Croft, and I finally won a solo match. So, ding! I'm going to blame that on
Power
Lara
of Lara.
being iconic. Yeah, the power of Lara.
It has begun.
Yeah, they got me, gals. They got me. It's over. It's all downhill from here.
Well,
Well, yeah. What are y'all been playing? What have you been playing, Koga?
This week has been kind of slowish. But I have, of course, Dokkan as always. Always have my Dokkan device ready to go.
Yes.
Um, this it's kind of this year for this game has been for global at least has been not great. And then we hit here for like the past month because the celebration is still going, which was originally for Golden Week into Goku Day until now, and it's just been really, really good. Um, and then now, so we're getting to where JP has been this whole year, which has been just absolutely like the best year for the game so far. So we're finally getting to that. They released a new LR this week because they had a Dokkan now, which usually is where they announce these type of things. I do think, and I love the global Twitter team, but I don't know what these guys have been doing this past month, but they need to get it together because they did another oopsie.
Oh
Imagine
well.
where you're going to have like the Dokkan now, where you're supposed to announce this, and and like 30 minutes before the video goes up, you put the information of the new unit that's coming out.
Well.
JP players weren't happy about that, by the way. They were mad. They were like, because they wanted to watch that for the surprise, and it got ruined because not everyone's talking about it on Twitter. So I don't know.
Yeah.
They need to get that in order. But besides that, it's been like a very good month. And from what I've seen on JP Week, it's gonna be like all just uphill at least until September, October. So I'm trying to make sure I don't spend no monies.
We'll
Um,
see how that goes.
I mean, maybe a little bit because the anniversary is next month. That's usually where they do like discounts and discounts. If it's discounts, then sure, but like not always all the time. I just usually try to save up unless there's like units that come out that are like really good. Like the ones that came out for Golden Week were like really good. Not like good as in they're like powerful, but they're good like across the board, multiple events, multiple teams you can put them on. It's like you if they can go on a team, put them there. They'll work. Somehow. They'll work. And that's the kind of stuff that okay, I'll summon for that because it just helps get things done. Outside of that, I've been playing Yakuza, still been going through
Words.
Yakuza 4. I don't know how I feel about this one.
Oh
It's
well.
not bad. It's not bad. What they did was is that instead of you playing as Kiryu, you play as not one, not two, but three other characters besides him. So there's four player
Hmm.
characters you're playing as, and you play as him last.
Hmm.
Um, some people did like this because it did change up, the play style and things of that nature. But if you're there just for Kiryu, I'm sorry, he's just there at the end. And from what I've seen thus far, I don't even know if he really even needed to be there
Oh
because it's like
well.
there's just other stuff happening. Because he's at this point, he's trying to just be like, he's runs an orphanage, so he's just trying to do that thing, and he keeps just getting brought back into stuff. But like you're just playing as other characters that you didn't really know about. Well, one I did because I played Yakuza 0. So it was cool to, to play as him, which is name is Sajima. And then there's another character at the beginning that you play as, and I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, I'm very bad at remembering Japanese names off the top of my head. But like I'm now on like the third character, and the one thing that I think is a little bit weird is that you start as one, you level them up. You start as the second one, and then they're level 0, and you go to them
Oh.
for maybe like a few hours, and then I'm on this third one, and it's like I gotta start over with him again. Now, luckily the gameplay isn't bad. In fact, it's better than 3. Like that's what I knocked 3 for. Was just the AI just knew how to block, and you had to do like level up so much to get to a point where you can get around that. You luckily don't have to do that in this game. But if you're someone who just likes to stick to one character, then this one, I don't know. And it's not like they're all in like the same spot. No, they're all in different spots doing different things, and there is a story happening that eventually comes together. I'm not sure how well it's gonna come together because it's looking a bit all over. Like it starts where there was a hit in 1985, and then you find out that there was something else behind that. But one of the guys who got shot, you eventually learn he's still alive, and you're like, how was that? That's because somehow they changed the dude's gun, and it's now rubber bullets. So, and I guess that just knocks people unconscious or something. So the guy who got shot
Okay.
eventually gets up and then shoots everybody else. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
What? What?
Hmm.
It's kind of like all over, but storyline wise, it's not my favorite. And also, it's not a bad game, but it's kind of like not sure how I feel about going from the characters aren't all bad, except for the one you're playing as the cop. He's kind of like whatever. Which imagine that.
What a
But
concept, you know?
yeah,
A
but
cab.
Right. Just friendly
but I,
reminder.
but I think I'm about 15 hours in. And like I said, at least gameplay wise, it's much better than 3. But not sure how I feel about going from character to character like that. But I better get used to it because you gotta do that in 5 as well. But at least you start with Kiryu on that one rather than last. But that's really been mostly all I've been playing like this week. Week has been a bit slow for me. What you been
Yeah.
playing, Spin?
I did want to give an update because I know last week we talked about the Fall Guys leak, the source code leak. So I wanted to give an update on that because me and Ruby have been playing Fall Guys. I've been playing a lot of Fall Guys on my own. Um, so far I have not seen any hackers. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been really
Nothing to
good. Yeah.
report. Hopefully that will continue, but so far I've seen literally no hackers. So good job.
There was an
Uh,
update, so maybe they did some.
yeah,
They might have
yeah,
patched it.
Yeah.
yeah. There were like quite a few updates in like the past couple days, so that might have
Okay.
been they might
Yeah.
have been like, like furiously coding like
Like, oh, let's fix this.
That's good.
right. Um, but yeah, aside from that, a lot of my off-stream gaming time has been taken up by grinding on Final Fantasy 13. Uh, because I've been doing a playthrough of Final Fantasy 13 on stream, but I've gotten to a point where like basically literally the characters might as well like talk directly to the camera like, "Hi, you're gonna have to grind for a while at this point." Like they literally like stop the game and are just like, "Grind here."
Basically.
Yeah, like it's pretty much spelled right out. So I've been grinding for a long time. I'm gonna be grinding for a lot longer. I've like basically like the way that Final Fantasy 13 works is that you don't level up your characters, you level up your jobs.
Mhm.
And I've only maxed out one of the jobs on each character, and there's still 2 more main ones to go and like 3 more side jobs. So I'm gonna be grinding for a while. I might do some grinding streams. Uh might do some cute little streams where I'm just like chatting and grinding. But that's mainly what I've been working on off stream. As far as on stream, I got back into Famicom Detective Club: The Missing Heir with Lin Blend. It's been so much fun to do the Lin Blend streams, and it's just like I just can't wait till I get my full model and I can just exist as her, and like it's gonna be so iconic. But as far as the game itself, like I've had a lot of people ask me, like, "Oh, how is that game? Like, how are you enjoying it?" This game is drama. This game is
Who would have thought? A detective game? Dramatic?
listen. Okay, so I was expecting to like go in, solve a little mystery, be cute, but I'm just like I don't know if I necessarily expected to be as into the story as I am, but like just the amount of like family drama. I don't want to get into spoilers, but basically like it's like the chairwoman of a company is possibly murdered, possibly died of natural causes, but definitely probably murdered. Um,
On the day she's supposed to announce her will. So definitely
right.
not suspicious at all.
Like her niece and her nephews are all super suspicious. The maid definitely knows something, but she's terrified out of her wits to say. Possibly she may have come back as a zombie in the last stream. Uh,
Just casual
like,
things that happen in this game.
and now like we find out like the missing heir of the title of the game, the missing heir. We found out more about that situation last time. And I'm just like, where is this gonna go? I literally have no idea, and I'm so here for it. I'm just like ready to be taken on a roller coaster ride. Just take me away, Famicom Detective Club, and just take me on into the story.
Love that. Love
That's what I've
that.
been doing. That's what I've been doing.
Yes, we love to
Um,
see it. And for to be clear, you don't have to grind that much in Final Fantasy 13. The thing is, Spin just wants to blow through the game. So I just don't want people to get scared and be like, "Oh my god, Final Fantasy 13 is very grindy." No, it's not. It's just that
That's
Spin specifically wants to blow through the game.
way to call me out. But yeah, it's true.
I thought the same thing because I played it once, and
Same.
I'm like, what? I didn't think it was that grindy. In fact, I thought the game was kind of bit like too easy, but I kind of probably because it just went on like to me it was like almost on autopilot. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
choose this set. Okay, something's
Mhm.
helping choose this set. All right, let's go back and switch over. It was just constantly switching and constant poses.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm like grindy. I'm like, am I? Did I? Maybe did I? I don't know.
It's not
But
necessarily that grindy. I just like to be prepared.
I got you.
Overly
I just want to be
prepared. Let's just
prepared.
say let's say there's a difference between prepared and overly prepared. Because you'll be prepared if you just don't skip any battles. That's like usually the thing with Final Fantasy
Yeah.
games for the most part is like if you don't skip battles, you'll be fine. Like things will be challenging, but you will be fine.
Well, for
TM.
modern at least. Because
Um.
if we're talking old school games, I don't know about that. But
Oh no.
modern, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Old school games was kind
Modern.
of a bit.
Seven onwards.
Mhm.
Yeah, seven on
Right.
ish. Yeah, but yeah, definitely don't need to do days worth of grinding to complete Final Fantasy 13. I promise.
Me. I'm just a clown.
Are you going to do 13
No.
too afterwards?
I don't know if I'm gonna do it right after, but I do have it, so I definitely want to do it at some point. I might break it
Okay.
up though.
Yes. No, but that was not a call out. It was just like you don't have to do it. Don't be scared. There's enough bad rap about 13. Spin just wants to
Right.
prepare. That's all.
Right. I just want to zoom when I do end up streaming it again.
Speaking of, what are you gonna stream? What are you gonna do? Where can people find you, Spin?
Well, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok, all at Spin Blend. You can find my shop, Spin Soap Cafe, at spinsoapcafe.com.
Ooh,
I'm gonna have 2 new soaps coming first week of June.
yes,
Support queer businesses for Pride Month.
and
Um,
always,
and always, but like just put that out there.
yes.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna have new soaps coming in June. I'm doing this week on my Twitch, I'm gonna be doing charity streams all week. I'm gonna be doing, hopefully, fingers crossed, like no health issues. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're gonna be raising money for Project Hope to help with the current COVID crisis in India right now. And on Sunday, not tomorrow Sunday, but next week Sunday, we're gonna be starting a big relay, like me and the team of streamers that I'm working with to organize this are going to be doing basically 2 full days of stream relay. We're all just going to like go into like raid into each other's streams as like a final push for the charity. Everybody's doing iconically. We're almost at $3,700 as a group
That's amazing.
already, and just I can't say enough good things about Milky Berry, who's organized this. She's iconic. She's been she's like brought us all together, and everybody's doing iconically, and I can't wait to do my part. So I'll
Yes.
be starting that on Monday.
What
What about you,
time?
Koga? Oh, 8 p.m. Eastern.
There you go. I was like, when, where, how?
8 p.m. Eastern for all the streams.
Yes.
Yeah, Koga.
You can find me here and on Twitter at Koga_Jangles. I will tomorrow morning be doing Sega Saturn Sunday. I was gonna do that last week, but I just got my COVID shot, and I didn't feel bad. I was just tired and didn't feel like doing nothing. That was about it. But so I'll be doing that tomorrow. For this upcoming week, I'm not exactly sure what else I'm gonna be playing. So it could just be Sound Voltex, because that's usually just like, okay, I don't know what I want to play. Play that, because that's always a good time. Um, I've considered buying Mass Effect Legendary Edition, but that long games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of long games, and that's like, do I really need 3 longer games right now? No,
Right.
really don't. But but yeah, should be doing that tomorrow morning. Not sure I'll be. Usually when I do Sega Saturn and Sundays, I just pick a few games and just whether I played them or not, or just pick a few. But so I'm not sure exactly what I'll be playing tomorrow. Maybe I might start it off with a few games that I have played that I grew up with, and hopefully I don't spend like in 30 minutes telling a story.
Well, sometimes that can happen. But I love that though, like revisiting a game from your like childhood or like from growing up, and or just a game that you've played before and being like, this is what I love about this game. It's like I love doing like first playthroughs, but I've noticed that some of those streams that I've done just like shown games that I grew up with are like also just as fulfilling because it's like, oh my god, this intro song, oh my god, I love this, oh my god, this reminds me of something. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, because it just brings back memories of things back then, of just, years ago. And for me, there's just some to where there's just multiple reasons as to why, like Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, on Sega Saturn, why that game was just a lot to me. One, I liked Mortal Kombat. Saturn was my first arcade, like experience. So you had that and just everything that went with that. And it goes more than just even the gameplay. It's just what was happening around that time and why it means a lot to me, why I love the game so much, and could be particularly that version because that's the version that I grew up with at the time.
I love
So
that. I love that. And what time? I don't know if you said it, but what time do you usually do
uh
that? Those streams for?
usually about between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time.
Stay tuned, y'all. Stay tuned. And for like your non-Sunday streams, do you have do you have a particular time where you do them?
Usually, if I do during the week, it's around 7:30 ish. It varies. Usually, I try to do at least maybe Tuesday or Thursday, but it varies. I haven't this week because my roommates have been doing well with mental health lately, so I just been very attentive to her this past week. So, but this upcoming week, I should be able to do at least Tuesday and Thursday around 7:30 p.m. Central Time.
Yes, please go follow them. You can find me at Project Ruby on Twitch, on YouTube, The Project Ruby on TikTok. This week is actually, I'm going to be celebrating 5 years on Twitch by doing 5 days of streams. So, it's not going to be, I'm not going to stream back to back. It's just, going to stream individually each day for like 3 to 5 hours at most. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be lovely. But yeah, we're gonna do kind of like some things that are kind of like references. So for example, on Monday, I'm gonna be playing Overwatch because that was the first game that I've ever streamed. And then we're gonna get back on Tomb Raider 3 because the Tomb Raider series was actually the first single player games that I've played on my channel. So just like a lot of different things. And then we're gonna end off the week with Final Fantasy VII Remake because that's like basically the latest thing that I started. So it's kind of like throwback mixed with like what kind of games and content kind of describe my channel like throughout the years, which I think is kind of like a cute little concept. So definitely stay tuned. I should start most of those streams at around like 4 p.m. BST, which is 11 a.m. Eastern. So stay tuned if you want to like watch someone at work or while you're working from home, or while your manager isn't looking, or during your lunch break. I'm that girl for you. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, listening, all of that fun stuff. We really appreciate you. Remember, following us on all the social medias at Just Gaming Tingz is free. So please do that if you're watching or listening on Twitch, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, all of that fun stuff. Please do follow and share with your friends and all that fun stuff. We will definitely be back next week, next Saturday, for another podcast. Sometimes we do gaming streams throughout the week, depending on availabilities and moods and life and all of that fun stuff. And definitely stay tuned for June because we have a lot of fun stuff and chaotic stuff ahead of us with, Summer of Gaming, with Pride, with E3, all of that stuff happening. So definitely stay tuned. And yeah, have a good week, everybody. Bye.
Bye.